Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is about self-care. Now, the thing is with self-care, we can do it in so many ways. There are so many ways to practice self-care, but the principle remains the same. Improving the self, making the self healthy, and improving personal well-being. It's so important that we engage in self-care every day, at least for 30 minutes. Just do something that's good for you, good for your health, good for your skin, good for your nails, good for whatever it may be. Self-care is a really good way to build your confidence. Self-care is something that we often neglect because we have so many responsibilities, and a lot of the time we just have the excuse that, oh, I didn't have time. But the real reason is that we don't believe we are worthy of self-care. And practicing self-care is a good way to build your self-concept. Your self-concept is the way in which you define yourself, how you relate to yourself, what meaning you make from your existence and who you are. It's how you decide who you are. And self-care gives you a bit of a boost. So it shows you that if you look after yourself, then you start viewing yourself differently. You start understanding yourself differently. You start defining yourself differently. And you just become a different person because you now feel that you are finally worthy. Because you are worthy of self-care. The amazing thing about self-care is that it improves self-image, as I said. So it improves the way in which you view yourself, how you see yourself. Because if you're not looking after yourself, you're not going to see yourself in a positive light. But if you're taking care of yourself, you're going to see, oh, I've got actually nice hair, or I've got nice eyes, or I am pretty, or I am strong, or it just builds a different level of self-reasoning, self-definition, self-examination. And self-care also improves your self-esteem. If you look good, you will feel good. If you look after yourself, you will feel good about yourself. And self-care is one of the best tools you can have in your toolbox to improve self-esteem. Because even if you have a good self-esteem and you start lacking on your self-care, then your self-esteem is going to slowly drop, because it's about having self-respect, taking responsibility, and being able to look after yourself, to practice your own autonomy in being able to be your own person, to take responsibility for those things. And self-care also deepens the inner relationship, because you build a stronger bond with yourself, because you say, I am worthy. I need to look after myself better. And when you start caring for yourself, you start caring about yourself. And that is what improves the inner relationship. When you are actually taking your best foot forward and you're saying, I'm taking responsibility for my health, my appearance, and my well-being. And that is what's going to make you feel better about yourself. And that's what's going to boost your confidence as well. And it also deepens the inner relationship significantly, because you feel more connected with yourself. You feel a lot more resilient. You feel that you understand and you have more awareness of yourself. You have more self-awareness. And self-concept is also about developing self-respect, because when we respect ourselves, we want to clean up after ourselves, we want to look after ourselves, because we have that respect, we have that self-respect, we have that dignity. And people who neglect themselves, neglect their well-being and their appearance, usually don't have a good level of self-respect. And that's what brings your self-concept down a bit as well, and your self-esteem, not to mention your self-image. Understand that you must always be a priority. Your health, your appearance, your well-being must always come first, because if you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of other people. And you must always be a priority when it comes to your health and your well-being. Have the autonomy to take the responsibility and to make the decision to look after yourself. And I cannot stress this enough, that your health and your well-being must always come first. And you need to practice self-care regularly and be consistent, because that is the only way to maintain yourself, is through consistency, by looking after yourself. And it's important that self-care becomes part of a routine. When you wake up and you say, okay, today's hair wash day, today's face mask day. Just for example, my point is that you need to be consistent in these things, in these steps, to keep yourself well, healthy, neat, clean, and overall just feeling good within yourself. So make it a part of your routine. Even if you can do 30 minutes of self-care a day, make it part of your routine. And that will make it easier to follow. It will be easier to put in consistency. Put it on your to-do list. And the amazing thing about self-care is you feel confident. You feel self-assured. You feel strong within yourself. You feel good within yourself. You're able to go out, start a conversation, because you're not worried about, ooh, do I smell bad? Do I look bad? You know, we don't have that when we practice self-care, because we have the confidence that we gain from the self-respect that we also gain when we take the initiative to look after ourselves each and every single day. Looking after yourself is daily maintenance, and it requires a lot of consistency. And looking after yourself adds purpose. It gives you more belonging, more reason to say, oh, I want to be here. And it gives you a sense of who you are, because you create purpose when you look after yourself. And we create purpose from making meaning, and we make meaning from the things that we do in our lives. And when we make positive meaning from self-care, it adds value to our lives. And when that adds value to our lives, that is what creates purpose. That's what gives us a reason to want to keep fighting, to want to keep going on. And just, it gives us a reason to be here. It gives us a reason to exist, to work hard. It almost motivates us as well. It's about taking accountability for yourself. It's about taking responsibility for your health, your hygiene, your appearance, your physical health, your physical well-being. It's something that only you can change, only you can take responsibility for. And it's extremely important that you do. And the amazing thing about self-care is it can be a great way to relax, or to blow off some steam, or to distract yourself, or just to engage in something that adds a little bit more purpose. And good ways to engage in self-care, and these are just a few examples, and they include skincare, sleep and rest, active and passive rest, so a lot of rest, when you need it, and having a great healthy meal also makes you feel good. Doing a little bit of exercise will also add some purpose, make you feel a bit better, get those endorphins pumping, get that dopamine rushing, and relaxation. Because self-care is not only looking after your physical health, but it's also about looking after your mental health. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.